Okay, this is video number 3 in a series of training videos for our new system, the new scheduling and accounting system for Southern Sovereign Pest Control. And specifically in this video, we're going to talk about the customer a card. You know that every customer they'll have a customer card and division account number, and we'll talk about actually the difference between that and the service order. And the service order is really like our electronic appointment. So this really is for all departments. I think anybody who will be, working for us in any capacity will, and especially in either customer service, marketing, or dispatch, should watch this video and be familiar with the concepts. So this is what we're going to talk about specifically, the division account number. And again, just explaining how every, customer record will have its own account number. Then we're going to talk about the customer service card, which is really the form within the system that we're going to work off of, and we will create service orders, really appointments for each customer, for each NAV account number. And there's a one-to-many relationship there where a division account number, you could set, in theory, as many appointments or service orders as you want. Obviously, the way we operate, I don't think you'd ever have more than, 2, or it'd be rare to have 3 scheduled for the same customer on the same schedule. But we'll go through that concept. And then we're going to go through all the tabs and fields on the customer card so everybody will know what those are. And then we'll go and discuss and review all the tabs and fields on the service order. And I'm hoping this will help people, move around the system and understand, what they're doing and what they're looking at when they first start training in the system. Okay, so we're going to go from here to the actual system. And the first thing I'm going to do is click on this cube here for customers, which is basically our list of customer accounts. So when I click here, it comes up, it looks like this. And you see here all these numbers. And they starts with MD. For this test system that we've developed, we inputted or copied the data from our Maryland company, and all account numbers begin with the first 2 letters or the abbreviation for the state in which that customer account is in. So for the Maryland customers, it's MD, and then numbers. For Virginia, it's VA numbers, Georgia, GA numbers, Tennessee, TN number, and the Texas, TX, and then the number. So here's a list of the account numbers. Now this list also shows the name and the phone number, but the best way to pull up an account that you're looking for would be to actually open the very first customer account. And this is the customer card here. And you see we've got, the fields for first name, last name, address, and different things. We've got city, state, zip code. But if you wanted to open a specific account, the best thing to do is click in the field that you know that you want to search by. So for instance, if we knew the actual account number, we'd click in the account number field and hit go to, this go to button here. This is similar to the find function in the current nav system that looks like binoculars, which you can hit go to and then put in an account number like MD06231, and it opens up that account number. Let's say we were looking for MD06231. Type that in, hit go to next. I'm sorry, that's the one let's say we want MD01413. Hit go to next, and you see that account number has come up. Let's say we didn't know the account number, but we knew the address. You could hit go to, and let's say you knew the address was something like 7021 Nashville. Hit enter, Nashville Road pops up. So if you didn't know the name or address, or let's say you just knew the name and you knew their last name was something like Brady, type in Brady, or actually I'm in the first name field. Let's go to the last name. Type in go to and put in Brady. There's several different ones, and you can keep hitting go to next. It'll scroll through the list of customers with the last name of Brady until it finds the correct one. Also find it by phone number. If you knew the phone number, you could hit go to next. I don't actually know any phone numbers that are in here. I'll put something like this. No matches were found. I don't know any phone numbers. So anyway, but yeah, so again, any of these fields, email address, for example, I've put my email address in here a bunch of times. Go and put an email address in, hit go to next, and it'll pull up the first record that has that email address, and I can keep hitting go to next until I find the correct email. But again, we're on the customer card, and this is really like where we have all of the customer information that we need to track for this customer. It's all sitting really on this card. We've got their name field, got the last name, we have an address, city, state, zip code. We've got 2 email fields here, and we've set up functionality, if you click here, where you can actually open up our email system. I don't have the passcode. There he goes. You can just hit cancel there, and actually pulls up, and we could send this person an email. Okay, then we have fields for bill to information. So if it's a rental property and the billing information is separate, from their actual property address, you can put in separate bill to information here. We have numerous fields here for phone numbers. There's a bill to phone number. We've got a phone number field, business phone, mobile phone. So several for the actual phone numbers. Then we also have here functionality to do our refer a friend program. I'm not going to really get into that now in this video, but it's in here. We'll have a video that describes that later. But then we have this note here, a note field, and this note field goes on every appointment ticket that we create for this customer, every service order. So I could put a note field in here, something like, gated community. And that note field will appear on every single appointment ticket that we set up for this customer. But again, we've got the phone number fields here. We have different terminology in this system, as far as area and sub area, but we call them service zone codes. So it's an MC. Based on the zip code, it knows it's an MC3, and the sub area code is 1. So we've got these fields here. Then we have down here, and this is similar to the current division card. So anybody who is familiar with our current division system, this is going to look familiar to them. We've got a tab here for payment, where we use to make a payment on the customer account, where you can enter a check number, a payment amount, and then apply it to an invoice. Again, this is something we'll cover in a later video, but if they had an open accounts receivable balance, you could make the payment here. We also have this. It also has functionality for our batch credit card processing. Okay, if we wanted to enter a credit memo on their account, you do it here. And again, everybody in customer service who's ever applied a discount or a write-off for bad debt, it's done here. We've got this reports tab. We're not going to be using that in this system. I'm going to remove this. But we've got the refund tab. If we were going to give this customer a refund for some reason, we do that here. Contact info, we have a note field here. This tab here will contain the nav notes that we use in our current system, but we're going to use a different note field in the new system. We've got a note field here up at the top where we can create customer notes and date, time, stamp them. So we will use this field going forward. Notice when you see it says sample note, it tells who created the note and gives the date here. Contact info details. This information will be filled in by the marketing department when they create a new customer record from our contact list. We cover that in the very first training video or demo video. So that is right here. And then this renewal info, this is where we track our contract information. So you can see here for this account, they have here's their contract number, or excuse me, here's their customer number. You see they have a termite only plan. It is active. You see the description, 1-year termite only. There's the price, and it gives the anniversary date, the month, week. All of that is right here. If let's say we added a second contract, let's say they also added a pet lover service, we would go and put that here. Let's say they added it last week. So we have the ability here to put as many contracts as needed. Here in our current system, I believe we only have, fields in CMS for one contract. Here we can put as many as we need to with different expiration dates, different plan types, different month, weeks, and we're able to track them for renewal purposes. One field I just realized I skipped over is the structure code, which we have here. This one is a small crawl, but we have our list of structures here that is also on the customer card. Now, if you were sitting on the customer card and you wanted to schedule a service for a customer, we have a button here for Create Service Order. Now, that is the only way to schedule an appointment for a customer is to create a service order. And the service order, will open up. It'll have its own number that's linked to this customer number here, and it'll allow us to schedule one or more of our services for this customer. So this one here, for example, they have a 1-year termite only policy. So let's say we needed to schedule a retreatment for this customer. We could go here to Create Service Order, and it opens the service order. Now this looks very similar to the customer card, but notice here you have a number, service order 000992. So this is the actual service order number that we can refer to, similar to like an invoice number. That's really the way to think of it, because this service order is actually going to become an invoice when it's completed. So notice the fields here on the service order, and these are coming straight from the customer card. These are just basically a picture from the customer card. You've got the customer number, name, address, city, state, zip code. You got some fields here that we're not using, like contact name. We're really not using that, but you've got the phone number fields. You've got the email address. Yeah, like this notify customer, we're really not using these, but you can see here what type of structure, where it is. We've got this field here for priority. This can be used for like the urgent appointment situation, where for some reason we wanted to mark this as high. Maybe we needed to reschedule it at a sooner time. Maybe we don't have appointments available like same day or next day. You can mark this as high, and then we can run lists based on that priority and possibly get it scheduled sooner. We're really not using this service order type field. We may change this to something in the future that we use, but right now we're not. But you can see here on the service order, we've got Responsibility Center, which is marketing. So when you log in via remote desktop, the system is going to know who you are based on your login. Like here, I'm logged in as administrator, and I'm set up as I'm in the marketing department. So that'll automatically fill in there. So the system will know who has created the service order and which department they're in. We've really not, this status field is something we're really not using. We may change it at a later time so it makes sense for what we're doing, but right now we're not. We've got this field here, status 2, which is something that we can run lists off of, and what we're going to do is things like here you can look, and let's say we perform a service order, but maybe we didn't get a signed contract. You can fill that in there, need signed contract. and then we can go in and run a list of all the service orders that need a signed contract, and you can have that in there until we actually get the contract. Maybe it's something like under contract with a competitor that marketing may use. They may put like under contract with a competitor, and then you could use next contact date, say like September 17th, and then also like an action required at call at next contact. So they would be able to use these fields and go in and say, okay, under contract with a competitor, next contact date September, call it the next contact date, and they would know, and you know that contract's expiring, and we can set them up when that expires with the competitor. So again, we have that. We have this next contact date, which again, if we want to be able, we have it where we can run a list based on a range of next contact dates. So we can run a list of service orders by that. We have these action required fields. Probably the most common one in here is going to be reset appointment, where maybe the appointment doesn't go through production for some reason, it needs to be reset. We'll be able to run lists by just reset appointment by this action required, and be able to manage this and track the service orders that way. We've got ones like set outside spray. If we need to set the outside spray, you can select that one. Some of the other ones we have in here are like termite estimate. Maybe we've given an estimate after running the initial service, and so we'd want to just be able to track all the service orders where there's an estimate. We have a duplicate field here, action required too. It has the same list, but we thought that it may be a good idea where we may be able to run it by, there may be two separate items we would want to track service orders by. Okay, we have a field here for ad source. At this point, I'm not sure if we're going to use this because we've got another place where we're going to track the advertising. We've got a checkbox here for signed contract that we're going to use to make sure that before we actually complete and post the SPC is being completed, we're going to make sure we have a signed contract. You see these fields here for resource number, name, allocation date, hours, and start time. That's our appointment information. When we set an appointment, that will be filled in here. Then we have some note fields here that I'm going to discuss, and we'll get into these more in depth at a later time. I'm going to do a video just on note fields. But we've got routing notes. These are notes that would specifically go to Amy when setting an appointment, maybe help her with routing. Could be something like, let's say it was this appointment set for Dave, it could be Dave only, don't move. We have a field here for technician notes. These are notes that will go on the appointment ticket specifically for the technician. And then just general note field is a note field that we can use for just about anything. Actually, when we post this service orders being completed, it will save the general note field. So if there was something that we wanted to save permanently, we can put it there. This due date field is just something, it's a technical thing that's automatically filled in with the date that the service order set up. And it just needs to be in there for posting purposes, but no one needs to, really deal with it. We've got these note fields here that have to do with different alerts, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. But for same day appointments, this note field is used to alert the dispatch department. If the dispatch department needs to alert the department that set the appointment, they can use this. This could be something like when the appointment's running and the tech is running late or the customer is not answering the door. They would use these fields. And the schedule notes. This is a note field or an alert for Amy. If maybe we didn't have appointment times for like a treatment, we could put a note in here, need something like that. And what happens with these note fields, when you check one of these boxes, an email is sent to everyone in the department who's in the dispatch, depending on the department that you're sending the alert to, everyone in that department, plus a list is created. I got kicked out of this. I'm just pulling this service order back up. A list is created, that everyone can see this alert. But again, there'll be a separate video just about alerts. So I'm just kind of glossing over it right now. Then on the service order here, we have here the service item lines. This is where we actually select the appointment that we want to set, like here, no charge treatment. This one's for 3 hours. We'll leave it at 3 hours. But the service item template is basically our service list. And again, I'll pull it up here so we can see it. But if you look, you can see all our different services here. This is where they are selected. I accidentally selected bee nest removal. I'm going to remove that. Okay, the service line details. These are all the fields, and again, I'm just going to gloss over these real quick. These are the fields for where the payment will be summarized, and actually what I'll do is I'll select something that would actually have a dollar amount, like a mosquito service. So you can see $99 for the mosquito service. Let's say they're going to pay $99. All of that information would be here, the check number, if we were going to set up an installment plan, if they had a coupon, all that information would be inputted here. This application tab will be used by the dispatch department when the technician calls in the service. And they would select the chemical that we use. And they would put in the quantity, where we used it, some type of linear feet, the equipment used. So that's what the application tab is. If we needed to take a credit card payment for a service, we do that here. We have a payment tab. We'll close it and then open it again. So we have the payment tab. For, again, if we wanted to get a payment for this service. And then the renewal info tab that I showed you on the customer card, that is here. So we know what contract. You can just see, if you're working on a service order, you can easily see what type of contract that customer has. Notice before I said, when I was on the customer card, about a note field that would always be on each service order and appointment ticket. That is right here, this customer note. And if you click on the actual appointment ticket for this, you can see here the two services, the treatments, and then you can see what it also shows you what type of contracts, but here's that customer note about the gated community. Oops. Open this back up. So if we were going to go in and schedule, I'm actually not going to go in and schedule this service because I don't believe we have a treater in Area 3. Nope, we don't. So, but anyway, but this is, again, the service order. These are the fields. And this is where, again, we would schedule and manage everything, with the appointment. Again, this goes back to, if you needed to go back to their customer card, which is the permanent record, you could click here. And hit edit. And this opens their customer card, which is very similar to the card that's in Navision right now. One thing too, if you wanted to see the customer statement, you go to the Reports tab, click Statement, and hit Preview. Actually, we haven't posted anything to their account, so there wouldn't be anything here. I'll pull up a different one. Let's say I'm going to Home, let's do MD101413. I'll pull up their statement here, and you can see this is what their statement looks like, very similar to the current nav system. If we wanted to see their invoice register, know what their service history is, you can click Invoice Register, hit Preview, and you can see a list of services going back to 2010 that we've performed for this customer. Notice their account balance is shown here on their customer card. Now, I said before that we have this one-to-many relationship between service orders and the customer card. So notice here it says orders 1, and that's that service order that we just created. Let's say we wanted to create a second one. I just click there. Now we've got an additional service order set up for this customer. And actually, let me click out of here. Let's look at that first one before we move on, see what we have set. So we have one that we created on the 28th. And let's see what that's actually. It's set. Okay, this is set for Roy for Monday, and it's a renewal. So let's say that we also, at a different time, we want to set an appointment for a mosquito. Well, we can do that here. We could also go and add it to the other service order, but we could we could go in and just create a separate one here. I want to go and fill in my required fields here. Let's say office sale. Okay, and then if you go here to line, resource allocations. Yep, and let's say we're going to set this one for later. Maybe they want us to do the mosquito service on Friday. So we select Roy on Friday, we hit auto allocate, hit OK, hit refresh. Now we've set the mosquito for Roy on Friday. If we go back here to we're on their customer card now, and you see here this orders. It says orders 2. We've got 2 service orders open for this customer. And again, there's that one-to-many relationship. If for some reason we wanted to set up a third one, click Create Service Order. And this is a completely new service order. This one's 00994. And let's say we made this one, clicking on the service item template. Let's see, what could we pick here that would make sense? Let's say they needed an outside spray on a different date. Again, not realistic, but so we've got the outside spray here to be scheduled. We go to line, resource allocations, and let's set this one up for Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Hit auto allocate hours. Okay, refresh. Now we've got, going back to their customer card, you can see there's 3 service orders. So it's that one-to-many relationship. You work from the customer card and you create service orders. One thing too that I'll mention real quick is this call log feature. And let me go to a service order. Actually not, I'm not going to mention the call. I'm going to wait and do that on a separate video. But I'm going to end this one right here because you can see the service orders here from this customer card. Again, customer card, 3 service orders. You click there. You can see each service order, and then you can highlight the one you want and hit edit to actually view and continue to edit and work each service order, which goes back to that one-to-many relationship that I wanted to show with this video. So I'm going to end this one here. There'll be more videos to come that explain a lot of this information in depth, especially as it relates to the these note fields and these alerts. There'll be one video just for that, and actually just about every function in this system will probably end up having a separate video. So just to make sure everybody understands it completely.